Hi, you guys. I'm back with another 3 more chapters. But first, by the way, this is Queens Avenue Tarot, and we are doing a book review of Bob Woodward's new book, Rage. We are on chapter 4, but I want to add that I had to cut off at the end of chapter 3, but I forgot to tell you that Tillotson was Tillotson went before the Senate, and he was confirmed 98-1. I don't know what. I don't know why. No, Mattis was 98-1 when he was confirmed, and Christian Gillibrand was the no vote, and Jeff Sessions didn't vote. That's why there was only 98. And Tillotson was later confirmed 56-43. Because, remember, he said he was going to be tough to get confirmed, and he was tougher to get confirmed, but they both got in. Okay, so let's jump to chapter 4, okay? This is interesting because this is where Dan Coates comes in. And Dan Coates is from my state, Indiana, and I haven't really ever known very much about him, but he's one of Pence's closest friends, okay? And so Pence calls him and asks him if he wants a job. And he's like, no, I do not want a job. Religion was what drove Coates and his wife, Marcia. They'd been together for 50 years. They met at a school called Wheaton College, in Illinois. And it's a college. Their motto is "For Christ and His Kingdom." So it was crazy, I mean, not crazy, but they're just a total religious situation over there. Billy Graham was a big influence there. So anyway, years ago, Pence and his wife and Coates and his wife all got together and they had dinner, and they talked about the future, and they talked about where God might lead them. At the time, Pence was thinking about running for president. I don't know what year this was. And Coates, they were wondering if he should, they were talking about, should I do another term in the Senate? So that is what they talked about. But Coates said that they wanted to pray about it, and that they wouldn't ask God what he should do. They would ask God for clarity, is basically what he meant. He's one of God's children, and he's supposed to be obedient to whatever God wants him to do, but he wants God to send him clarity. Okay, I think I may have even met him at one point. I know I met Dan Quayle. I'm not sure if it was Dan Quayle or Dan Coates, but it was years and years ago. It was before Quayle was ever even HW's vice president. So anyway, Marcia Coates, Dan's wife, her parents were ministers, and by the end of that dinner, they decided Coates would not run for another term in Senate, and Pence would not run for president. So, and then unexpectedly, Pence was called up as vice president for Trump, right? And he wanted Coates to come to D.C. or maybe probably to New York, because at this point they weren't inaugurated yet. But he wanted Coates to come to meet Trump so that he could tell Trump how the Senate works, because Trump he has no clue, right? So Coates figured out this was Pence's way of trying to recruit him. But he went. In November, he went to Trump Tower to meet with the president-elect, but he didn't want to work for him because he's this extremely religious guy. God, I bet, Pence really had a hard time making that decision too, because they knew that Trump was so lewd, and they accessed Hollywood tapes, and Dan Coates is a really, really religious guy. He thought Trump was vulgar and inappropriate and disgusting. And so Trump says, "So you want a job?" And he's like, "No, I don't want a job." He's like, "Oh, come on, I can make you an ambassador." And Coates is like, "I've been an ambassador." "Well, how about China or Russia?" And Coates says, "They kicked me out of Russia. I can't go back there because I criticized Russia's invasion of Crimea." So then there was this other big guy, Hotty Totty, oil guy, a billionaire from Oklahoma. Trump says, this guy sticks a straw in the ground, and up comes the fucking oil. His name is Harold Hamm, Hamm. So anyway, that discussion changed immediately from Coates to Hamm, and the meeting was over. And then a month later, Pence called Coates back and said he wants him for Director of National Intelligence, which is the DNI. And this is also known as the Intelligence Czar. It was one of the biggest jobs that the president could offer. And it was this position was over 17 intelligence agencies, including CIA, National Security Agent, all these jobs, all these big agencies, right? So he took the job as DNI, but he was still reluctant. But his wife urged him to take the job. So, and she herself was uneasy about Trump, and so she was also. She was a committee woman, a Republican committee woman for Indiana, and she had been appointed by Pence 3 years earlier when Pence was the governor here in Indiana. So she was asking her family members, "Are you going to vote? Who are you going to vote for?" And they said, "They're not voting for Trump." And they said, "Who are you going to vote for?" She said, "We won't vote." So there's all these people in her family that are Republicans. They didn't even vote for Pence. They didn't vote for Trump or Pence, and so, yeah. One of her relatives said, "He's not a Christian, he's not a nice person, he's not a moral man." See, these Republicans know that this guy is a horrible guy. But the one thing that Trump had going for him was that he told everybody he was pro-life. And he promised a stronger military. He's not pro-life. I wonder how many abortions he's paid for. He doesn't care about that. God, these people have just been snowed. I mean, totally snowed. So anyway, he took the job. He doesn't feel like Trump is a humble man, and so they thought, they thought that the job of the president of the United States would change Trump. Michelle Obama says something like, it doesn't change the presidency doesn't change the man, it reveals the man. So I don't think those are her exact words, but I think maybe she said it shows who that man is or something like that. And boy, has it ever. So yeah. I even think Donald will turn to God for guidance. Please. She told somebody, Trump is so controversial, he's the kind of guy that would inspire crazy people. Boy, was she right on spot. So Dan was confirmed 85-12, easy peasy. I mean, everybody knew him. Everybody liked him. I like him. I have different views than he does, but I don't have anything against him that I know of. But, there's so many secret all the secret stuff I don't know about. So on the surface, I like Dan Coates, okay? He seems like a real good guy. So he told the president that there are going to be times when he came into the Oval Office and he was going to tell Trump about things he didn't want to hear. And he told the president he didn't want to take it personally. So the first 3 months, he was like over his head, okay? His world, he had a liberal arts degree and a law background, and that'd be perfect for the Senate, but he was out of his element here. The intelligent community is, scientists and engineers and mathematicians, smart people, not just senators. And they talk in all these code words and acronyms, and, there's all these sensitive programs and intel from outer space and blah, blah, blah. And he was overwhelmed. So he also thought that when he walked into the Oval Office, he never knew what kind of mood Trump would be in. He didn't know if he would be the nice, charming guy, because Trump could be charming, but that is a trait of narcissist. Narcissists can be very charming to people that they want something from. That is a classic trait of a narcissist. Or he could be blowing his top in a rage, just like he said in the very beginning of this book. And why Bob Woodward named it. I bring rage out. I do bring rage out. I always have. I don't know if that's an asset or a liability, but whatever it is, I do. That's a quote from President Trump, as it told to Bob Woodward. So anyway, Dan Coates had to go in there 3 times a week for daily briefing, and Trump would say shit like, I don't trust the intelligence. He saw the intelligence people as his enemies. Also, Coates and his wife didn't drink. They, at college, signed pledges never to drink alcohol. He said he also thought that Trump was smart. And he could be, he could be engaging and charming. And the bad days, he would just say, I don't believe that. I mean, he's got 17 agencies under him, intelligence agencies under him, coming in to tell the President of the United States something. And he's like, I don't believe that. But boy, he was really busy, Coates was. He read all the time. He traveled all the time. He'd spend, a whole day on a plane, like 24 hours on planes, going to like Singapore or whatever. He went to all the intelligence agencies, Coates did, and he would, get to know them, trying to beef up the morale. And he invited Trump to tour the NSA or all that kind of stuff, and Trump had no interest in going there. He turned him down. So when he did, what he was interested in is when Coates brought this really good-looking, charismatic guy in. He looked like a movie star, and he was a Navy submarine captain. And he brought him to the Oval Office, and Trump liked that. And he was telling him how he could track, submarines of different countries and blah, blah, blah. And he said there were more bad days than good days. Trump, impervious to facts, he had his own facts, alternative facts, and he thought everybody was an idiot, and he thought, we've all heard this, he thought every country was ripping us off. Steady stream of ranting. My mother did that, and I tell you what, That's why I don't talk to my sister. Anytime she's called me, she just goes off on me. Like, it's like, oh my God, it's like a childhood trauma all over again. She's got the nagging gene, like it's genetic, I guess. It's learned behavior, but who taught Trump to rant and rave like that, I wonder. So anyway, he said that he was on a different page from everything that he believed in. And Coates couldn't figure out, so you know how Trump tweets 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Coates is trying to sleep, and he gets these tweets, and he finally decided, I can't look at this because I got to wait till morning to look at it because otherwise I'm never going to get any sleep. He was losing weight. His shirts were starting to hang on him. His wife was worried about him. And he started to worry and wonder, when was Trump sleeping? And then he figured out that Trump wasn't even coming into the office till like 11:30 in the morning. He's working a half day. He's so arrogant and inadequate. Okay, so now we move on to chapter 5, and we're only at 16 minutes. So enter Bradley Byers. He is a former Marine fighter pilot, okay? He came into he joined Mattis's office. And so, first of all, the president was in a debt. He wanted to immediately outdo Obama on the executive orders. He wanted to, all that bitching he did about, you can't sign all these executive orders or whatever. Well, he wanted to beat Obama at the executive order game. And so the very first one was at the Pentagon. He was scheduled to go to the Pentagon on January 27th, so that's 7 days after he was inaugurated. And it was the travel ban, which banned people from 7 countries. And a complete shutdown of all Muslims, pretty much, So, and I'll tell you something else. The veterans that were in that meeting were totally pissed that he did that there in their hallway. Byers was known as the Commissar. That's a Soviet communist official who monitors loyalty, okay? Okay, so then in April, this is when the Tomahawk missiles were shot at Syria, right? And this is what, nobody got hurt because Trump called him and told him that they were going to do this. And they, they bombed their air base. And that was as punishment for Assad's use of chemical weapons against their people. Or I don't know if it was against their people, but it was chemical weapons. So then they didn't hit the runway. And Trump was pissed. He was furious. Why didn't you hit the runway? Why didn't you hit the runway? And Mattis told him, they can rebuild that runway in 24 hours. Stop worrying about the runway. We've knocked them back, 2 or 3 months. 3 or 4 months, and I'm sorry, my allergies are horrible. So he was like, he was just in a rage. And at this point, Trump thought U.S. steel, production was in jeopardy. So he wanted to put big tariffs on anybody that was importing steel into the United States, including North Korea. They started to have a debate about it, and the president, they didn't want the president to come in, but he wanted to come in anyway. So he wanted to put a tariff on all steel and aluminum. Remember this when this happened? I remember. And on everything coming in. And this move was experimental. And, a lot of the people, like Gary Cohn, who was the chief White House economic advisor, he said, you can't do this. You can't experiment with the American economy. You can really screw it up. So, I didn't know this, but we need 3% of what do you call it? Gross national GDP, gross domestic product. And he also said, we are, let's see. Trump just keeps saying everybody's taking advantage of us and that we are a piggy bank for everybody. And Cohn told him, we produce goods. We are not a steel producing nation. We produce goods. We need to import the steel, but there was a White House war internally for and against the tariffs on steel. Okay, so he's asking, this is stupid. He was asking Byers if he was a wrestler or not, and Byers said, yeah, he was. He was actually a pretty good wrestler, NCAA wrestler, and he had the messed up ears. And Trump said, I bet you were good. He said, you know what? I would have been good too. He's never wrestled in his life. He said, you know why I've been a good wrestler? And Byers goes, why? And he goes, because I'm tough. My husband was, in high school, a champion wrestler, and went to state, and he also got a full scholarship to a very exclusive private university on his football and wrestling scholarship. So, okay, so here, he has signed some other kind of executive order. I'm not seeing what it was. Some kind of negotiation on steel. And this is when he said something like Robert Lithizer, who was a trade representative, and Wilbur Ross, who was a commerce secretary, were weak negotiators. And he said, not to mention, but my generals are fucking pussies. So at that point, Byers went and told Mattis what had happened, because remember, Mattis is a career guy. I mean, a career Marine. He was a career Marine guy that never got married. He was married to his work. And so Mattis had Byers email that to him, so he had it on paper. So 6 is just a couple pages. I'm going to go through it really quick. So President Obama told Trump that North Korea would be the biggest problem that he had. But different people said that they thought that Obama handled the North Korea policy incorrectly, and that Obama's, well, these are Trump people telling Trump that Obama's policy with North Korea had been a disaster. And so they had like 9 options for how to treat North Korea, ranging from totally accepting that North Korea had full nuclear power, all the way to a military attack and changing regimes. That was the range of what 9 different things they could do, and Trump was going to pick one. Okay. He decided on maximum pressure. And he went to choke off North Korea's ability to make money. But they love each other. All the love letters. You know, when I was reading this, I was kind of wondering, I wonder if somehow we took Kim Jong-un out. You know, Trump's telling all of us, oh, we love each other, we love each other. I've sent him love letters and all this stuff. He could have really covertly taken him out. I mean, why would a young man in Kim Jong-un's situation go into a coma? What's up with that? Of course, we'll never know. Okay, so here is 2 weeks after he was elected president, he nominated Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo is a big deal. He really is. I don't agree with him on anything, but he's smart. He was the first in his class at West Point, and he also had a Harvard Law degree. So he's no dummy, you know. Okay, and then there's this other guy, Andy Kim. He's a Korean. I think his parents. He immigrated from North Korea. No, he was born in South Korea. And he came to the United States with his parents when he was young. And so he was fluent in Korean, and he was a legendary CIA operative, okay? And so he's got all kinds of spies all over the world. And he works for, I think he works for the CIA. Again, Andy Kim told Pompeo that Obama's strategy with North Korea hadn't worked. And they also are telling Trump that, you know, Kim Jong-un has only been in power for 6 years. They didn't really know what he was like. I mean, Kim Jong-un. They knew Kim Jong-il, I think, was his father, but Kim Jong-un was relatively, new guy on the scene. So let's see, I'm at 27 minutes. Good, we're just about done. But they wanted to find out what made him tick. And Kim wanted a total, Andy Kim, he wanted a team, a big team of hundreds of people to handle this North Korean deal, okay? And to investigate them and spy on them and that kind of thing. That's pretty much it for chapter 6. So I'm at 27 minutes. I'm going to stop here. I'm ready to get to the good parts, you guys. Chapter 7 starts, first 2 words are Rod Rosenstein. So anyway, I think we'll do that tomorrow, okay? Because I've gotten through 6 chapters plus the prologue, and plus I did the Lenormand thing today, and I'm getting kind of tired. I got other stuff to do today. But please subscribe, hit the like button. You know what to do. Okay, thanks. See you tomorrow probably. Bye.